Welcome to Life, Lafter Divorce, episode 35. I am your host, Leanne Linsky.
And I'm the boyfriend.
So welcome back to another wonderful week of divorce. While you are out there tuning in, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and or Stitcher. And while you're out there, be sure to stop by and check out our website at lifelafterdivorce.com because we are very excited to say we have launched our retail therapy page.
There's some amazing items for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to say what we're selling?
Yeah, let's say.
All right, we have some really amazing high-end soaps and candles that for aromatherapy, for a little bit of that alone time when you need to just pamper yourself a little bit. And I can't believe I just said that, but that's fine. I'll continue down this. Pamper yourself a little bit and really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And these soaps and candles are fantastic. They're locally made. They're high-end products, and we're really proud of the products that we're selling.
That's right. It's our own line of Life, Laughter, Divorce soaps and or candles. We have different kinds out there, so it's fun, and everything's really named just for you. I named them with you guys in mind. So take a look. Tell me what you think. Maybe try something out. It's a fun way. The soaps are really nice. It's a nice way to say, see you later, baby.
Boo,
Sorry, bad
boo,
puns.
boo.
Bad puns.
The boyfriend does like the soaps, though, but boo.
Yes, we both use these products, and we are big fans. So they're there for you to enjoy. Let us know what you think. You know, we also have been posting on social media about our question of the week, which has been really popular, and we've been getting a lot of feedback and engagement with. And I realized we haven't talked about it on the last 2 episodes, and we need to catch up. So we're going to catch up for sure next week. We're going to procrastinate one more week because we have a really big episode this week, and we don't want to you guys to miss out on our guest. So our question of the week this week.
So we're going to ask another question, and we're going to recap all the responses next week.
Next week? Yep.
Okay, just making it clear.
Was I not? No, I guess I wasn't. So that's what we're going to do. So the question of the week this week is, as a single parent, how do you make time for yourself?
I couldn't imagine that because, hell, I'm a single guy and I can barely make time for myself. So you having a kid or having a young individual that I'm supposed to take care of, wow, that's tough.
It is. I can't even imagine having a pet right now, let alone a child. I mean, that's a full-time 24/7 job.
The pet would starve. She can't cook, ladies and gentlemen.
I do cook. He just doesn't like it. So, but how do you do this as a single parent? I can't even imagine. So I really look forward to hearing your answers on social media about as a single parent, how do you make time for yourself? Which leads us in today, actually right to our guest, because she focuses on just that, on getting support out there for single moms. So our guest today is Neferteri Plessy. She is the founder of Single Moms Planet, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, and it's dedicated to uplifting single mothers and their children. She's a CEO and also the creator of Single Moms Awards. So without further ado, So welcome to Life, Laughter, Divorce Podcast. We are with Neferteri. So thank you for making this long drive to Long Beach today.
Thank you. No problem.
So we're excited to have you on. I know you've been super busy. You've been traveling a lot this summer.
Yes, I have actually. I have been traveling a lot. I was in Louisiana. I was in Vegas. I was in Louisiana for 2 weeks with my kids. That's where I'm originally from.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to spend a lot of good time with family and friends and sightseeing. It was really awesome.
That's nice. We need to go on vacation.
When do we have time for vacation?
I know, right? No, that's great. I know you've been super busy. And also, you just had an event with Single Moms Planet. which we're going to talk about more.
I did. Yeah. We just had a fundraiser 2 nights ago at Kendra Scott. She is a entrepreneurial mom. She's married and she started her business out of her spare room. And now she has like 35 locations. We did it in the one in Century City Mall. And she's such an inspiration. So we were really inspired to do a fundraiser with her. And we actually found out that we raised the most money out of any nonprofit that had done a fundraiser in the Century City location.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That
really
is
cool.
pretty cool. So, all right. So we should probably start at the beginning because so the boyfriend and I, we know about you.
Oh.
We've been doing some homework, but to give our listeners, let's catch them up to speed. So I know you're divorced and you have 2 young boys.
Yes.
Right. And so you are a single mom.
I am.
And so how can I just ask how long ago it was that you were divorced?
Sure. We got divorced 7 years ago now.
Okay, so it's been some time.
Yes, it's been some time.
And I'm guessing your life has changed quite a bit.
It has. It was difficult at first. It's a lot easier now. I think it was just kind of the shock of it all, not having that combination of mom and dad being in the home together and then all of a sudden like it not being there. But I actually have more support now that I'm divorced than I did when we were married.
Really?
Definitely. And I love talking to married women because I'm a strong believer in marriage and people not getting divorced. And I always, because we have quite a few moms who volunteer in our organization and they're like, maybe I should just be a single mom. I'm like, no, you just have to really set boundaries. And a lot of times moms or wives, they feel like, oh, I need to tell him that I need time to myself. It's like, no, you need to set a schedule and a date and tell him you are not going to be there and that he needs to figure it out. Whatever he has going on, if Monday every other week is your day from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m., that's just what it is. And he'll make it work because that's what men do. But if you just say, oh, I need time to myself, I'm stressed out. Okay.
Good luck with that.
What does that mean? I don't understand that,
Yeah.
They don't understand that. So you have to just set a time, set a date, see if it works with him somewhat, because it may never work for him. Right. You have to just say, this is what I need to do, and take it. Because I remember my ex-husband, I would wake up in the morning, I'd be like, it's like 7 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, he's fully dressed. Like, when did that happen? Like lightning. And he's like, I have things to do. I'm like, damn, me too, And I'm like, I got to get some things to do, regardless if I have anything to do anyway. But, men take care of themselves. They do. Their schedule and their life does not change.
This is true. I'm looking at the boyfriend right now because you're smiling.
I never thought of it that way, but you're right. Mm-hmm. I have my schedule. I do my thing. And whether you're with me or not, I still do it. And and then by having the woman plan out her time, I'll work around it and make it work. So therefore, but like you said, if you asked, I need time, I'm stressed out, I don't know what to do with that. I don't.
And when you were saying it in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, that seems so harsh. And then I look over at the boyfriend and he's grinning. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, huh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. It's simpler for them. I think a lot of times when I talk to the married moms, they're leading with emotion and he should understand how I feel and he should know. He sees me with the baby all day. He sees me looking crazy and a mess. No, book your spa appointment, get the credit card and pay for it. Whatever you want to have happen, just make it happen. Communicate with him. Like, don't leave him out, but don't feel like he should be booking your spa appointments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to know the guy you married. If you didn't marry the guy who booked your spa appointments before you got married, he's not going to turn into that guy because he said, I do.
Right.
He's just not.
Right.
That's like a fantasy.
I wouldn't know how to book a spa appointment. So
exactly.
Right. You'd be like, I don't even know what you do there.
They don't know where you go. And there's some guys who do, though. Right?
Yeah.
But that's that other woman's husband.
Right.
That's not your husband.
That's like in a movie or something.
Yeah.
That's the one that got away. So
Right.
No, that's a good point. So all right, so you were divorced 7 years ago, and now you have this great support system. How long can I ask how long you were married?
We were married for 5 years.
Okay, so long enough to establish a routine and a schedule and to get that figured out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely long enough to get everything scheduled out and figured out. But at the end of the day, the default is mom.
Yeah.
You know, even my older son, every time I see him, he needs something because we have 50-50 custody with the kids. And he's like, I need a notebook. I need this. I need this for my birthday. I'm like, do you ever ask your dad for anything? And he's like, he sat there and thought about it. He was like, no, your mom. You know, it's like dad's like the second or third alternative to all requests in life.
Wow.
You know, and it's just what it is. They're always going to look to mom. Mom solves all things. And then I have to say, dad can do things too, like include him. He can pick up some cleats or, you know, he mostly does all the sports stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But he can buy a notebook for you, or if you have a project, he can help you do that project. You have to tell him what's going on, though.
Right.
You know, yeah. But we did establish a lot of scheduling. I think we have a more tight schedule now because we're not in the same home.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys have activities and they have sports and they have karate and music lessons. And, you know, they have all these activities. Their lives are more interesting than mine at this point. And so, you know, you got to be careful with that balance, too, that you're not just driving around kids all day. Because that's not good for anybody. Not even them. They're like, can we sit down? You know, at some point. So
yeah, well, you probably like, and especially boys, they're going to grow into those same men who don't know how to book a spa appointment.
Right.
So you got to get this right.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Talking about that, I am such a firm believer in the parent is the problem. Like a lot of times, you know, as we've gone into society, and I've been dating for a couple of years now, it's like, what did your mama or your dad do that didn't work out for your brain capacity? Because they just don't get it. Like they think they're doing something or they think they're doing something amazing. And it's like, you're so average. Like your dating skill is beneath anything that I would even consider. And they think they're doing something special. And I'm like, no, like really, I'm like really into like training my children. I have 2 boys, how to really learn a woman and pay attention to her and kind of, you know, notice it's her birthday. Like my son, this is his first time they ordered me something online for my birthday. They paid for it.
Wow.
I use my credit card though, because they have to get it online. We don't have a credit card. But they did it, and they got me some things, some jewelry. I was like, this is some interesting jewelry when it showed up. But I was like, thank you, because they wouldn't let me see it.
Right.
But I was just like, okay, they're in the element of, you know, let me plan ahead, let me surprise, let me buy it myself, let me save my money so I can get my mom something.
Right. And they had the experience of the joy of giving and and picking it out and finding what they thought would be special for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I get a kick out of having them do that with me, but really I feel like I'm training them for their future girlfriends and wives. And
yeah, so hopefully you get to say so and who that is.
Oh man, we'll see about that. I don't know. I barely get a say so in what they wear, so I don't know if they're going to let me pick the girlfriend.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Most men, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, that is something. So, okay. So in the time that you've gone through the divorce experience and then to now, what has changed the most for you?
Oh, wow. Like, so pre-marriage, there was no such thing as like text messaging or, you know, Instagrams and all these types of technology-based functions. And I was, you know, you get a phone call, they leave a message, you call back probably in that week, you know, like it wasn't like this immediate communication. And so that was one of the hardest things for me. I used to actually, when I first got divorced, I think I didn't date for like a year and a half. And my girlfriend, she made me date. She was like, you are getting out of this house. And I'm like, but I'm still like not all together. She's like, no one is. Just go. Everyone's dysfunctional. You'll just be.
She's right.
Yeah. You'll fit right in.
She's like, you'll be great. She's like, just don't cry and don't bring him up. As long as you do those two things, you'll be good. But definitely, when guys would text me, if I felt like they were supposed to be courting me, I would text back, this phone does not receive text messages.
Nice.
Because I'm like, you need to call me and talk to me. You need to call me and ask me out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like old school.
Yes, I'm the same way.
You know, you want to get to know me, you're not going to get to know me through your fingers. You know what I'm saying? Well, not over the phone at least. You have to call me and make an effort. And they would call, like right when that message would go, they would literally call right away. And I'm like, hey, something's wrong with your phone. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it is. What's going on?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've actually done that. I've told a couple of guys when I was, they asked me for their number. This is before you boyfriend, so don't worry. But I was like, yeah, don't give me don't text me because I will never respond.
Perfect.
You were sort of like that with me too. You're just like, I'm not a texter, so if you really get to know me, you got to call me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Establish it. And then once you're in a relationship, I'm like, you know, with just friends or people, I'm way more accustomed to text messaging now. But at first I was like, what is this?
Offended,
this is weird.
Right?
Yeah. Like, you know, thinking about you. What? If you're thinking about me, we should be together doing something, or you should be calling me.
Right.
I don't need to know you thought about me. That does nothing for me that you thought about me. You know, so I was used to people taking an action to show me, you know, and I'm not really big on men creating patterns early with me either, like trying to text me every morning. Good morning. No. Don't establish something that you may drip away off of, or don't call every day. It's like creating like a false sense of connection.
Right.
You haven't really gotten to know me. So don't pretend like you know who I am by texting me good morning and how was your night? How was your day? It's too much. It's like false communication. You know, pick me up, take me on a date, and do it consistently.
Right.
Yeah.
Put some effort into it.
You have to put effort into it. And then establish, hey, babe, thinking about you. Good morning. How are you? It's genuine, right?
Right. Work up to that, earn that.
So
Exactly.
how many dates does that take? So like a 3-5 date kind of thing? Or?
I'm not really a date counter.
Okay. It's the rapport you establish with that person.
It has to be something going on there, though.
Yeah.
Like if we haven't held hands or even made really good eye contact and you're like texting me good morning, good night, thinking about you, something's off.
Yeah, then it just seems creepy.
Yeah, are you texting this to 5 other people? Like, this is a thing you do? You know, like you I think as humans, we know when a connection's happening. You know, be aware of it. And if it's not one there, don't force it. You know, because I have girlfriends that would go crazy. Like, oh, he was texting me every morning and then he stopped. It's like, how many times have you even gone out with him? Oh, like once or twice. I'm like, you don't even know him. How are you getting mentally caught up into something that he's doing digitally?
Right.
You know? Yeah.
No, I think
that's a great point. I
think it is too.
Yeah. We've been dating for almost 2 years now. So, and I didn't date much before that. So there's a different type of communication going on right now. And it is very superficial. Mm-hmm. So in order to establish relationships with people, you're right. Call them, talk to them, go out with them.
Right.
Create this rapport, create this sort of connection. Then use the quick communications to...
It's like a filler.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm tapping you, you know, versus like, this is how I communicate with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's so nice and refreshing when someone actually can have a conversation on the phone or in person rather than text or email.
It's true.
Because how you do one thing is kind of how you do everything.
It's very true.
Right.
Very, very true. So yeah, for me, that was the most drastic difference, is just adjusting to how to kind of, I don't want to, almost like still get what I need from whomever I'm seeing or dating or trying to get to know. so that I can feel comfortable with like allowing them in my space, you know, because it's like, you know, when you get divorced, you're open, but you're a little shut down too. And it's emotional. And so you're also used to having a daily connection with your husband, whether if you had the best connections with him or if they were even bad connections, they were still daily connections, right?
Yep.
And so then you go to a coldness of like a digital interface. And so it almost is like emotionally, you can become emotionally like charged by that. Like, oh, he doesn't like me, or what's going on? Did I do something? Why is he not calling me?
Right. You start to notice every little thing.
You notice so much.
Right.
Because you're used to having someone there all the time. So I had to disconnect from that too. My girlfriend, was the one who told me to date. And she's just like, oh, don't take it personal. It's just what people are used to communicating like that now. You know, because I met my ex-husband, 11, 13 years ago now, you know, so that's a long time.
A lot has changed in the technology department. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, it's getting used to that. And the other thing too is that I took power in being able to pick up the phone and call someone too. Mm-hmm. Right. So a lot of it was that I'm thinking that I need to be empowered and they need to call me. And then I was losing power. Right. Because I was feeling like I didn't have any power. Mm-hmm. And then I just, with my girlfriends, we were all kind of just like, you know what, we should just, when you have like a friend, you can call your friend like 5 times in a day. What are you doing? Let's go hang out. You call them on a Saturday morning. You don't have a plan, but you're like, want to go ride bikes or whatever you like to do. Treat them like a friend because nothing has been established.
Right.
They're not your man. You're friends first, right? So I started treating guys like friends. And then if it turned into something else, great. And if it didn't, that was okay too. You know, it made it a lot more relaxed for me than feeling like, oh, I'm dating, right? Making it like a theme.
Yeah, instead of trying to force it. Let's just be friends. Yeah. And you started from that mental space to try to develop relationships. It's a better methodology for it than, going straight in. And then like you said, the power thing, you were waiting for them or felt like you didn't have control of what was going on. It can be difficult.
From a guy standpoint, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that when someone treats you as a friend? And I'm an older generation now. Yeah.
So I think that relationships, when they're going to be successful, you have to be friends with that person. It's not just a dating relationship or whatever. You've got to establish some sort of rapport, some sort of friendship. Then you develop the deeper intimacy from there, and then you have a stronger foundation. If you don't have that, then you're just dating somebody, and that's probably not going to last.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, but again, I see the younger people that I encounter in my life do not treat it that way. So it's a different. Society has changed. It's a different world with technology and some of the things that have happened over the past 10 or 15 years. So
it has. Yeah. It has. Like, for instance, when I pick my kids up from school, I make them talk to me.
Good.
You know, I'm like, you are not going to be how was your day? Good. What did you do? Nothing. What did you learn? Nothing. I like turn around in the middle of the street. I'm like, let's go back to school. Because if you learn nothing, that's a problem. Oh, we learned science and math, and they have a whole story now. They're like, oh, back to school? Oh, no. What do you want to know about our day? And I'm like, when you see me, you acknowledge me. Hi, mommy. How was your day? What did you do? You know, have a conversation, but we have to train the kids to have conversations. Right. We have to tell them this is how you have a conversation. You ask people when you see them, they enter the door. How are you? Would you like to come in? Would you like something to drink? You look them in the eye. You shake their hand. Right. If you don't train them to do that, they're not going to know. Right. You know?
Yeah, they're not going to learn that somewhere else.
No.
It's so true.
It's really true.
So true. Mm-hmm. You know, and it does start with the parents, which, how did you, so going through this, like you went through your divorce, you started dating, you started making your life changes, got a support system. What happened next? When did you start your business?
Wow. So interesting. So I went through the divorce, and I realized I really didn't have any friends who understood what was going on with me. So I come from a modeling industry and entertainment background. So all of my friends either had no kids, didn't want any kids, or wanted to be married someday, like 10 years from that date that I got divorced. Or I had my mom she's, get over it, it's done, move on, but when you get older, even as I've gotten older, I could care less about a lot of things now. You have that mind frame of like, oh, that's nice. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's just life, right?
Yeah.
But I was not prepared for life at that moment. And so I still wanted to cry. I still wanted to like understand, or what did I do, or what did he do, and how can I never have that happen again? You have all these questions and they need answers. And no one in my circle really had any of the tools that I needed to get to the next phase, which was like, owning my own happiness and creating, a new life. Because at that point, it's like, okay, well, I had to I'm not a wife anymore. I'm still a mom. What does my life look like now? Do I date? Do I remarry? And at first, when I got divorced, I wanted to plug in holes. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna get married again. I'm gonna date. I'm gonna get a husband, and then I'm gonna show him, and I got this. It was like I was creating this world in my head where I was trying to like show him something, when really he wasn't thinking nothing about any of the stuff that I had going on in my mind. He was just worried. He wanted to make sure everybody was okay, the kids. Just the basics that men are more basic thinking, they're not like emotional like us.
Right.
And he definitely wasn't trying to prove something to me, where as far as I was trying to prove something to him. And by the grace of God, I have not remarried, because I had people that were wanting to marry me. And I was just like, I just always kind of, for some reason, it just didn't happen. I would kind of diffuse myself and just say like, do I really want to marry this person? Is this really the person for me? And so all these things that I was experiencing, going through, I said, I wonder if other women are going through this. Are there conversations out there that are happening? And I would go to moms groups, and 99% of the women were married and with nannies and maids. And I'm like, okay, this is not my life. I don't connect with these women. I can't go here and have a real conversation about what's going on with me, because I don't really want them in my business, because they're talking about something that's totally unrelatable to my life.
Right.
And the first thing we did was a 100 single moms brunch. And I sponsored it with 2 other people that helped me sponsor the event. It was free to the community. And that was really how Single Moms Planet was founded. Was just for me wanting to find a space where women could connect with each other that came from that same background, of going through a divorce or being a widow, or, a lot of women now are single mothers by choice, where they were like, I want a child, but I don't necessarily have the ideal mate right now. But in a minute, I won't be able to have a child. So something's got to come right now, which is the baby. The guy will come next, that type of thing. And it just really, it kind of like morphed into its own thing. It was like I put something out there in the atmosphere, and then the women and the members really brought back what it is that they needed and wanted, right? Because my story is my story. Everyone has their own story, and everyone needs different things. So you had women who had teenagers who didn't know who their father was, or their father lived 2 blocks up, but never acknowledges them, right? Wow. So you have like a lot of heartache and pain. Then you have the children whose dads have them all the time. Like my kids, their dad's there all the time. I never have any issues with him. He's very supportive. And so we had, I had to do like questionnaires and, what does that look like for different types of stories and situations? And then how do you impact the children, and how do you impact the mother? Some moms are financially well off, like really well off. Some of them are millionaires. And then some of them are hand to mouth, you know, one paycheck from eviction, or homeless. You know, there's a lot of homeless women with children as well. They may be fleeing domestic violence situations, you know, scary situations where the father can't know where they are because he's a dangerous guy. So you have all these different dynamics, and it was like, well, how do I create a community that can impact them where they are, right? And then also impact them overall. And so that was really, you know, how it started, was just me wanting to connect, me seeing that there were women who maybe didn't have the support system that I have, because I have my mom, I have their dad, I have girlfriends, and, you know, I have my own marketing company. So all my clients know I'm a mom, and I pretty much work from like home, you know, so I have a blessed life, and the extra time that I have, I just dedicate it to helping others. Yeah.
So you were looking for this. You created this brunch. What was this, about 5-6 years ago?
This was, so we're in our 5th year now.
5th year? Yeah. It's from looking on the website, that's what it sounded about where you were at. So about 5 years ago. So you started this as a way for you to try to find people to connect with. And now it's turned into this
community,
a really large community of a lot of people that have come from different backgrounds and different reasons why they're single moms.
Yes.
And everyone's supporting everybody.
Exactly.
And how was that transition from that first brunch to where we are now? Because that's quite a bit of work and quite a bit of an evolution of this of your group of single moms planet.
Yeah. Yes. So Single Moms Planet, a part of it was definitely thought about. Like, I had key people that I was like, I want to do this group where we, you know, start like a movement for single mothers. I want to tap into that demographic. No one is really targeting single mothers. Like, there's a couple of people that are, but a lot of it lives online. A lot of it doesn't live in the community, right? So it's not hands-on. And so for the single mother, there's already a disconnect. Like, she's usually disconnected from her family, or from a divorce. Usually the spouse's family will stop communicating with her. And then she has another disconnection from him, right? So she has all these layers of disconnection. So then you add in the layer of disconnection where you just put content only on the internet, and there's no community, there's no friends, there's no people that you can call up and ask a question or go have a coffee or a tea. And that's really what I was wanting to create. So I didn't want it to just be where they all contact me either. And so we've had moms that they've moved in together and gotten apartments together. They babysit each other's kids. They've started businesses together. They've traveled together. They go to each other's birthday parties and events. And I'm just like, wow.
But that's a community.
Yeah.
To see it.
You're providing a great place for connections.
Yes.
So people can, the disconnects that they had, now they can all come and connect together and help each other in a very self-supportive system.
Exactly. So I think, to answer your question, it kind of like, you know, when you do create a community and it's done properly, it becomes like a living organism, right? So I want it to live with and without me. You know, I don't want it to be Nefertari's planet. It's Single Moms Planet. We have moms. We have people who are in our organization that are members that are not moms. We have women who are married. We have couples and companies that buy corporate membership. So it's really about community, because it does take a village. It takes you have to have support to raise children.
Yes.
When you do it by yourself, I mean, you can get it done, but why would you go the hard route? And it's a misconception a lot of times. I get messages from moms, or I look at their messages on Facebook that they post, and they're like, you know, no one helps me, no one supports me, you know, my family this and my friends that. And it's like, have you called and asked someone? Like, people know you have kids. You gave birth to those kids. That's not their kids. They're not going to call you and just say, do you need some help today? Call people on every Friday, every other Friday, or one Friday a month. Will you watch my child? what's the one day of the week that you don't have anything to do? Can you watch my child for me for 3 hours so I can go and get my nails done or my hair done? You know, whatever that thing is that you want to do, take a nap. I could care less. But a lot of them get in their minds, and this is a single mother's mind frame, not all, but a lot, like they are alone. They create this thing like, I'm by myself. I have to do this by myself. I'm alone. No one wants to help me. And it's like, no, it's not true. And then they want to vent about it. It's like, you haven't asked. You haven't did a powerful ask. If you ask 4 people in your life to help you with your kids 1 day a month, right? Mm-hmm. That's 4 times a month that you can go and do whatever you want to do. That's a lot. That's a lot of time frame right there. And there's a lot of people who would do it. You just haven't asked them. And you haven't asked them in a structured manner.
Yeah.
You know, you're calling them last minute. Mm-hmm. You know, this random thing came up. You need to have your last minute babysitter. Maybe there's someone you know that has a 24-hour childcare that's drop in. That's for your homework to do. Don't blame your friends and family because you have last minute emergencies and they're not supporting you now.
Yeah, so true.
It's craziness.
And I know there's people out there that would be willing to help. Like, I don't have any children, but I would love for someone to say, hey, do you want to babysit one night? I would love that. Nobody ever asked me. I don't know what that's about. But it's true. I would love to watch someone's
People
kid.
think that people are too busy because they hear them doing all these things. They may be looking at social media, or, you know, they know you have the radio, the podcast, and you're traveling and you got your boyfriend and they're like, oh my gosh, she's going to tell me no if I call her, you know, but
we make time for kids though. Like you said, that's really important to raise the kids and raise our kids and raise the kids in our community.
In the community.
To be proper people when they get older, to be able to communicate, to be able to have relationships. And we have to work as a community to do that. And I love what you're doing. This is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really, really nice. And you know, here's something. So within your community, do you have people, you mentioned there are people who are not single parents who volunteer at your organization. Do you have people who don't have children that volunteer?
Oh, yeah. Tons of people who don't have children. Yeah. Actually, the lady who helps me with event we do every month called Martinis and Mommies, she doesn't have any children. She's married. She was raised by a single mother.
Oh,
and so she's a financial advisor, and she is really into, you know, helping with Single Moms Planet and, you know, making sure the moms and the kids have established like a foundation for financial security. And she volunteers all the time. And, you know, there's quite a few women who don't have any children that support us. Definitely.
I would imagine, especially.
And men too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of men that volunteer. Our largest, one of our biggest donation pools are unmarried people or who are raised by single mothers or married couples. Those are usually the people who, you know, donate the most or have like the most time to, you know, support. So it is really important. Yeah, definitely. If you don't have any kids, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't belong. It's a community, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, especially if there's single moms in need of someone to help out. Like, as a person without kids, there are times where I know the boyfriend has a nephew, and I'm always thinking, I wish he was closer, because it would be nice to have time to spend with a little one. And we don't have that. To me, it's a luxury. We don't have that luxury.
Right.
You know, and to a parent, they're probably looking at us like we don't have the luxury of all the alone time and the freedom. So
that's where the community comes together.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah. No, I have 2 kids, and I love even being around other people's kids. So it's like, I think people think, oh, they don't want to watch my kids. You know what I mean? They're too busy for me. It's like, no, just pick up the phone and all they can do is tell you yes or no. You know, but
if you don't ask,
Yeah.
So you mentioned you guys have the Martinis and
Mommies,
which is great. And you do that how often?
We do it. We were doing it monthly this year, and we're going to be going to do it 6 times a year in 2018. Yeah, so we're going to do it every other month, and then we have a mommy mastermind brunch. So we do a mommy mastermind brunch where there's 10 moms. We're actually taking some new members right now for 2018, and we have a guest speaker that comes every month. Who typically has her own business or corporation that's doing, you know, really well. And she's able to give marketing tips or PR tips, how to structure your business or the things that they've done in business to launch. And it's been really rewarding for the members that we have that's in that group as well.
So that's kind of if people, single mothers are working their own business.
Entrepreneurial.
They're entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So a lot of times they may have a company that they work for full time and then they want to start their own business. And so I think it's a great way to, and the speakers that we have, they're like speakers that you would see speaking on like a stage with maybe like 1,000 people in the audience.
Right.
So you get like this one-on-one attention with them. And we have women in the group who don't have kids either, just because the content is really good.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool to talk to people who, have created products and they're in, 100 grocery stores. You get to talk to these women like they're right here next to you. You wouldn't normally get to do that. It's like having a group mentorship every month where you get to talk to people who are like, I have distribution. This is how I did it. I work with Paramount and Fox and all these big corporations or organizations. This is how I got these contracts with them. This is how I got my manufacturing deal to distribute my product, So you're really getting like really good hands-on experience.
Incredibly valuable information
it's
when
really
you're
valuable.
trying to start a business. Yeah.
And it's not, how, everyone has a webinar now, which is great, but imagine the webinar like coming to you and then you asking questions about your business, not like a random question. And so we do it for 2.5 hours once a month. We do it on a Saturday once a month. So it's really cool. And then we have quarterly play dates. So every season we do a play date. We actually have a fall play date coming up with an organization called Run for Care. And that is going to be the first Saturday of October. So we're really excited about that. They do a 5K, 10K run, and we do a big play zone for them. Single Mom Planet sponsors a play zone, and the kids get to come out and play and have fun. And the families run for women's health. Yeah, so we do that. And then we have a partnership with the Boy Scouts, which we just started this year, where we do a camping trip to Emerald Bay. And they get us over there by boat. And the kids got to go kayaking and swimming and snorkeling. And they had an aquarium there. And I mean, it was just amazing.
This sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, it was great.
This has really grown from a 100-woman brunch to a full-time.
Yes, it was
busy
just
organization.
Amazing. Yes. We took it was 35 moms and kids that we took to Catalina Island. So that happened in the summer. That was our summer trip. So we've been really nice. It's been really growing. Sometimes even how you do things and you kind of forget. I need to probably write those things down because I'm like, what do I? We do so much. Right. And then you kind of feel like, oh, am I even accomplishing anything? Because you're on your day to day.
Right. And you're like, I don't feel like I've done anything.
But then when you look back,
you look back,
wow, we did Catalina. We did all you
do a
this
lot.
is
You're
an
making
incredibly
impact.
Amazing community because, again, for the kids to have these opportunities to go kayaking, to go camping, and I can imagine as a single mom, if you were alone, it's hard to pull those kinds of things or create those opportunities for your children.
Especially in a safe environment, right? Because we had, the scout troop leaders and you have all these, they took us there by the boat. Like all that stuff is expensive to go one person by boat, $75 per person. So they cover the expenses for the entire trip. No one paid for anything. It's just been really amazing.
And you even put together an awards program.
Yeah. So our biggest fundraiser of the year is our Single Mom Awards. And for the last 4 years, we've been doing it as a one-day event. We were holding it at the Peninsula for the last 2 years, and we've outgrown that space. So we're going to be doing it at a bigger space, and we're going to be doing it for 2 days in 2018. We do it the first week of May, which is for Mother's Day. We celebrate Mother's Day, and we honor amazing organizations. We honor amazing moms. We honor Garcelle Bouvier. We've honored Maite Garcia, which was Prince's ex-wife. Garcelle's an actress. Autumn Calabrese, she is with Beachbody. She has a huge social media following. Shayna Mokler was a former Miss USA. She's hosted our events for like the last 4 years. So we really, it's just been amazing. It's really been amazing. Even when I was like, I want to do single mom awards. I mean, it was just, you just say it, you do it. You know, you don't know what's going to happen.
What were you thinking when you originally thought it?
You know, I was thinking that mothers aren't acknowledged enough and they don't acknowledge themselves at all. You know, that's typically the formula for disaster. And so, and discontent and complaints. And so I'm always looking for ways for women to feel special and to feel appreciated, and to show self-appreciation and then group appreciation and acknowledgement. And so I thought, what better way to do that than to like have a single mom award show where we honor them, you know, for creating companies and businesses and still doing it while some of these moms, they don't have any help from family or any help from friends, or, you know, the spouse may have been on drugs or, you know, disappeared and they've gone on to build, you know, empires for themselves or could have passed away too. We have some moms who we've honored 2 women who their husbands were their widowers, you know, and they have $5 in their pocket. And one of the moms, her company is called Packet, Melissa Keeling. We honored her 2 years ago. And she literally was like, she had $5 in her pocket, 3 kids, and her corporation does $15 million a year now.
Wow.
You know, so people don't know these stories. I went to an event yesterday called Celebrity Red Carpet. It's like a car seat event for safety because it's Child Safety Month. And every woman that I spoke to that was like, you know how they have the vendor booths? Yeah. I spoke to like 3. They were all single mothers who own these corporations. And one was like, yeah, my product's in, you know, in Ralph's and Whole Foods. I'm on HSN. I'm like, what? You know, she's like, oh, I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. And another one, she's like, I've been in business for 11 years. She has a nanny company. And I'm just like, this is incredible. Yeah. But no one in the media, that was the number one reason why I started the organization, was the media depicts single motherhood as something that's belittling or poor or broken, or
victimized.
Something is wrong here.
They victimize it.
Very victimized. Yeah. And I really wanted to show a different page. Like I was like, I don't even want to turn the page. I want to create a new book. You know, this is what single motherhood looks like. And for the women who are maybe struggling, this is what you can accomplish. You know, never give up. There are examples of women that have experienced worse than you, you know, but you have to want it for yourself. You know, you have to want it for yourself. If you want it for yourself, as an organization, we definitely are there to help you get to where you want to go. I'm a strong believer in business and creating opportunity and connections. I'm a big connector for others and helping people get where they want to go in life. And so if you want it, I'll help you get there. We do 2 scholarships a year where we help launch women's single mom owned businesses with like an event, or like we done book launches, we done product launches for moms. We also do 2 education scholarships a year at our award show, continuing education for single moms. We grant those to 2 moms as well every year. So
it's incredibly impressive and like I said, you just said, not even turning the page, but creating a new book. Yes. And you have, because what you've outlined and what you've described are amazing accomplishments for anybody. But then you put a single mom in those situations, it's even more amazing what they've been able to accomplish. And for your organization to provide the pathways for them to succeed and to grow themselves and enrich themselves and their lives and their kids, I couldn't be more impressed with what you've done and what your organization does for the community around us.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's really amazing.
You're really rewriting a story.
Yes.
You're doing, turning this on its, heel?
On its head. Is it head or heels?
Whatever
right?
it is.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I blanked, but on its high heels, you are turning
on its
this,
high heels.
right?
I like that.
Yeah, and I love it. This is really extraordinary. This gives a lot of hope and inspiration to so many people. You know, I would imagine that a new person coming into your organization for the first time and then just being around, people who've persevered.
Yes.
Has to be so eye-opening and provide them with such relief, just knowing that they're in the right place.
When we did the event 2 days ago, because I do believe, you attract what you are, right? So if you're attracting crazy guys, you might need to look at that. Because I had to get real with myself about that too. It's like, something's wrong with him. I'm like, maybe something's wrong with me too. What the hell? Yeah. So, but one of the things that the staff at the Kendra Scott store, they were like, every one of your guests was so awesome. Like, they were like, the conversations were amazing. Everyone was there to support. Everyone was there to give. Everyone was there to connect and to help. And, oh, you're a photographer. I need photos of my family. Like, really, this is, networking at its best.
Mm-hmm.
You're not here just to, show up and not leave with a phone call that you can make the next day.
Right.
Or a tea that you can have in 2 weeks. Or, something is really going on here that's juicy and good and is going to be fulfilling for your life and for your family. And I started getting emails the next day from women, primarily from a lady who didn't have any kids who came to support the event. And she was like, you have created a really amazing group of women that really support each other. And she was like, everyone's energy was amazing. Everyone was really there to take a stand for each other. Because you experience, though, I've gone to events where you especially in the mom world, sometimes people can be a little standoffish, or, you don't even feel comfortable to say hi to people sometimes. And so that's just not how I am. I'm an inviting person. I love people, and I love creating something that's there to really help and make a difference. And so that's been like my number one thing, is just like really owning that there's something here that's been created that is good for the community, that is thriving in the community, that's helping the community grow, and that's good for moms and kids and for dads. And with the divorce rate being so high, 1 in 3 marriages are ending in divorce. Or is it more? Is it half?
It's almost half now.
Yeah.
It's almost half. So you have 1 in 3 children are being raised by a single parent, right? And then that means that more than likely, when my sons grow up and they date, they're going to date a woman that was raised by a single parent at some point. All they have to do is just date 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's not, oh, that's their household. No. If you have a neighbor that has a little girl that's a single being raised by a single parent, or a little boy, pay attention. They could marry your son or your grandson or your daughter, your cousin. They're going to be a part of your family. You're going to have people being raised in single parent households in your family.
Right.
If people are still getting married and procreating and having sex, which I'm pretty sure they will be,
yeah,
you're going to experience it. So don't feel like, oh, I'm going to, close my door to that. No, like, be a part of the community, give back. Don't feel like, oh, all of your family has been married, or, that's not your issue. It's a community thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so glad to hear that, because it's true. It affects everybody.
It does.
And same with divorce.
It does.
You can't, I hate to say it, swing a dead cat and not hit someone who's been divorced, but
it's true.
You can't,
Yeah.
It's as common as finding someone as an actor in LA, if you're either an actor or divorced or both.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's true. It's very common. And yet, as common as these things are in our society today, I feel like we don't talk about them as much as we should,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's talked about in large sweeping generalizations, but we don't really have open deeper conversations about what some of the other issues are and how we can help other people. And I think one of the things that you pointed out is, as a single mother, you feel very alone, and that a lot of people, their biggest challenge is reaching out and asking for help. And I think also it goes for, just going through a divorce. We don't always feel that, even though it's so common, we don't always feel we can reach out and ask people, because it's almost like, because these things are so common, we should just be able to handle it.
Definitely that. And just, I think people feel like everyone's going to judge them too. You know, they're going to judge me. And one of my big pet peeves, ladies, please, 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 please stop waiting until your house is on fire to call the fire department. Like, when the flame is about to light or the gas is leaking, that's when you call for help. Like, don't wait till the house explodes. You know, then they're like contacting us like, oh, I'm about to lose my house and my car. And I'm like, we're not funded like that. You know what I mean? Like, we can help you before the disaster strikes.
Preventative care.
We can't get your house out of foreclosure.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wish we could, but we're here to help you help yourself. I repeat, we're here to help you help yourself. So if you call us, we love you to death, but you can't like burn the bridge down and be like, oh, I want to cross that bridge. Yeah. You know, you got to say, you know what? Like, I feel like I've been through this divorce. I should reach out now.
It's like having a car. Because
there's things I don't see.
Right. It's like having a car and never, putting gas in it or taking an oil change and then wonder why you have a problem and then want someone else to pay for all these major repairs. It's like, well, why didn't you take some preventative measure in the first place to do these things?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, we're adults. Things happen, but we have to take responsibility. You can't blame anyone else for your life. You did it. No matter what happened, you had something to do with it. You knew that if something in the back of your mind said, don't marry that guy, or don't go down that street, or don't go outside today, or don't let your kids do that. You know, whatever your thing is that you got into that you're still blaming somebody else for, stop. You can't control what someone else is doing anyway. You know, like, that's one of my number one things. I think that's why I've been able to continuously progress with the organization. No matter what goes on, it's never anyone else's fault. I always look at me. You know, I might vent for 5 minutes about what in the world just happened and why, but then I got to say, well, I can't call them and they can't fix it. I have to fix it. What can I do to prevent that from happening? I have to take ownership. I have to be powerful in my choices and learn from my mistakes, and then refocus it so it's not a mistake, it's a lesson, right? And move on. That's it. But it's a lot of, for me, like, because I talk to a lot of women all the time, and they have created this negative pattern of thinking. And it's typically in the world of someone else did it. They haven't taken the ownership. Right. Right. And then it's not like you're calling yourself a bad person. You're just being a grown up. You know, you're responsible for your
right. It's a different than taking ownership and beating yourself up over
don't
it.
Do that.
Right.
Oh, I'm so retarded. I can't believe I did that. No, you did it. Don't do it again. How can you not do it again?
Right.
Like you said, learn from it. Make sure that you recognize it the next time you come in that situation, and make better choices
and make
be
a better choice.
Be proactive.
And be proactive. You have to take action.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Such good thing. So, wow, just amazing looking at all the things that you've accomplished in the short 5 years that you've had. You know, it just started with one idea of finding a community, and then you've ended up helping so many people. What's next?
What's next? What's next is we're definitely already into planning 2018. We're looking to bring on more members. We want to bring on more members, and we want to bring on more organizations and companies and sponsors that want to participate, volunteers. We want to grow. I really see it being a massive movement. I would love for us to be able to, fill a stadium of moms and supporters and have like a 3-day event where we learn, we cry, we celebrate, and we grow, but it definitely takes the numbers, and it takes the support, and it takes funding. So, having community centers, I would like to have community centers for Single Moms planted in major metropolitan cities where there's women can come and get clothing for job interviews. They can get their resumes worked on. There could be a center for kids, like a child care center where when they're in the center, they can, take lessons or classes, and then the kids are being watched. And I would love for that to be it. One of my other goals is definitely doing some type of a housing situation, like a shared single mother living. Maybe it's temporary for, a year, 2 years, and it just establishes so that they can get on their feet, get a job, and, maybe they go to school. They have to be doing something.
Yeah.
So where they can get on their own feet, we help them get housing, permanent housing. So there's quite a few things that I would like to do, and just learning, because we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and I didn't never imagine myself having a 501c3 nonprofit. So a lot of this is like I'm learning it as I go, and, discovering, what can I do? What works? What doesn't work? What are the moms responsive to? What are they not? A lot of it is trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're really a community activity-based organization, which is a little bit different than a lot of organizations. A lot of times I think feel like they don't really do things like monthly. A lot of organizations don't do things monthly. They kind of like do their annual thing,
right.
Or it has to be attached to something for them to want to participate. Like they have to be getting a big sponsor for them to want to put any power behind it, or it has to be like a big disaster, like the Red Cross, they deal with disasters,
mm-hmm.
or, but what people don't understand, like the community is where the pulse is. If you love the community and you cherish the community and you invest in the community, a lot of those things just wouldn't, a lot of disasters, we can't control what the earth does, but a lot of those emotional disasters that come down to the domestic violence and, the crime rates, because we're raising the new generation of kids.
Right.
So if we invest into them when they're young and invest in their mothers and invest in the fathers, then there's going to be less of that.
Right.
So that's really where I am. I'm really like on the ground, feet on the ground, hands-on approach.
That's what's most impressive about your organization is, like you said, there's monthly things. There's you have a community. It's not just go online and get some information and throw money at it. You get together with your members. You learn from them. You grow with them, which is, again, impressive because not very many organizations do that.
They don't.
And for you to grow, it's going to be interesting to watch your organization grow and how you're able to maintain that small community as you become a larger.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I would like for to have happen. Did that even make sense? What I would like to have happen is empower ambassadors. So, have an ambassador take on maybe 10 moms, where she is kind of the has ownership over those 10 moms, and maybe they have something in common. Maybe they're in the same area and they can really get together, go hang out with each other, do things together. Because I know as we get bigger, that is definitely my thing, is like making sure that small community is there to where people don't feel like they're lost.
Yeah.
Right. Which is going to be super important. And I love that, you are thinking in those terms, because single moms need help regularly. It's not a one-time event that they're like, okay, this year we need some help. It's all the time.
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you really did. I think that was my number one thing. I was like, if we have one event a year, it's a waste of time because the women need daily, weekly, and monthly support. And depending on what they're going through, it could be by the minute.
Yep.
If she just found out maybe her husband passed away, or he has had an affair, and she's, we just had an email from a mom who, I think she's pregnant, and she found out her husband's having an affair. It's just crazy.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, we have an event next year. We'll see you there.
Right.
No,
it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't follow a schedule.
No. So I think when the women, they find out like, oh, there's like, at least 1 to 3 things a month that they can tap into, it puts them at ease. Like, oh, okay, I know I can make it to something.
Right.
Just knowing that is there, is very comforting for them.
which is really, really cool. How do people go about becoming members, and how do people go about becoming donors?
So our website has everything on there that you just spoke of. So our website is singlemomsplanet.com. And that's with the S in the middle. So singlemomsplanet.com. We have a membership button. So it's singlemomsplanet.com/members. And then we also have where you can donate on the website as well. And then our social media, where we post a lot of activities, is at Single Moms Planet for everything: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're pretty easy to find on that. And you can always send us an email at support@singlemomsplanet.com. So everything's all the same handle. We're pretty easy to find, and we love having new members. We're multicultural. You don't have to be a mom. You can be a dad. You can volunteer. You can donate. We also take some items as well, toiletries and clothes for women to go on job interviews. So, yeah, I think there's always some wonderful ways to support. And if you're an organization that's a business or a company and you want to work with Single Moms Planet, feel free to reach out to us as well.
Excellent. And all of those contact emails and websites I'll put in the show notes, so they will always be there.
Oh, that's great.
So people can always reach out and take a closer look, which I would highly encourage them to do, because this is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Love all of that you are doing.
Thank you.
So inspirational. Doesn't it make you want to do something?
Yes, it's like I said, it's just because it's not just about single moms; it's about the community. You've created a community that will hopefully help us all move forward and be a better society as we all get older. And it's like I said, I'm really impressed by what you've been able to put together.
Thank you.
And create. So all the best, and we'll try to help out as much as we can also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing all of this with us. We really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it too. And if anybody wants to reach me, they can reach me. I'm Neferteri Plessy. You can find me on my social media at Neferteri Plessy. And I just want to thank my team, because I don't do it by myself. I have a really great team of volunteers and people. Sandra Guzman, Brittany Tina, who really supports the organization. They really help a lot. And that's the thing too. You have to be able to reach out and say, I need help. I need support. I think it's great.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.